Great to be with you guys. Have a great season. Let it get up. Show it up.
So, the NBA is finally back, and we had 2 games already. I'll be covering both, but first, obviously, my Warriors, man. My goddamn Warriors played again. It's been a long time, and the preseason was fairly fun, besides Draymond being out, and he was out today also. But for the Suns, there was no Bradley Beal today with his back. Just the Suns being cautious about some of his back spasms that he had, so I guess there's that. Devin Booker played, Kevin Durant played, finally. KD playing back in the Bay in front of the fans. Can't wait to see his jersey retired in the rafters. Even though I can wait, because, I mean, that means Steph will probably be also retired and stuff. So it can wait, but it will be a great moment once these guys all have their jerseys retired. And Chris Paul, obviously, in the starting lineup without Draymond today. And it was not pretty, let's just put it that way. Let's put it that way, man. Let's start digesting a little bit. So, one of the biggest issues with Chris Paul in the starting lineup, no matter the size, is that one of the weak side helpers will usually be Steph or Chris Paul, and that's not a great weak side helper. They both were really bad boxing out, which Josh Okogie really, took advantage of, and even good win for the Suns. Pretty much anyone who could cut from the wing used that as an advantage today. And I would like to say that it could work, but I think Steph and Chris Paul minutes will have to be a little toned down together. I think it just cannot be as much as it was. He came out with 7 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the first quarter, and then came back down with Steph making some of the, dumb fouls he always has, sitting down with 3 minutes and 5 seconds left. So 4 minutes without Chris Paul playing for Steph, and it was solid. It was for sure solid. Nonetheless, the size was an issue. The point of attack defense, funny enough, was really solid, I would say. And the biggest positive was that the defense overall was really solid, besides the size difference and size advantage. Some of it was good missed shots, some of it was KD was off his game with our physicality, and he, how do I say it? He just kinda wasn't having it today. I don't know if it was really our defense or more so that he just wasn't feeling it. It was a mixture of both, very likely, right? Because KD is just KD and he's gonna be KD. But he missed some tough shots, he took some tough shots, and that led to us just having some sort of advantage. As we, stayed in the game, it was really solid. We need GP2, who came in early, to hit those corner 3-pointers if he wants to be, effective offensively, because we know what he can do defensively. We all know how great of a defender Gary Payton II is, but that corner goddamn 3-pointer has to be knocked down. And that's where, Steph got into foul trouble and the second unit came in. The game kind of stabilized, funny enough, right? The bench was really good. It stabilized well. Moody was shooting it well. I also would say that Kuminga played fairly solid, besides some dumb fouls early on. I mean, early on especially, because later on he played really well, but early on he played solid. Clay didn't take that many bad shots, I counted. And where it really, kind of fell apart was us missing just some easy layups, man. Saric himself had a rough day finishing around the rim. He's not, traditional 5. He is more of a power forward, right? But he is trying to play that 5th spot because, well, we simply just want him playing because he really does a lot for our offense. But he had really big trouble finishing, and maybe with him having trouble finishing, you could have given some time to Trayce Jackson-Davis. I know it's the first game of the season, but he had a really good preseason, and with your starters and your, usual rotation struggling, I mean, we could have seen maybe a little bit of Trayce Jackson-Davis, especially with how Saric was finishing poorly. And overall, we missed, in the first half, we missed about 8 to 12 shots that were fairly easy. Whether it was layups, whether it was, some of the scoop shots that Steph had, we missed a lot of easy shots. Let's just put it that way. And I counted myself 8. Some of people said 10, so it was somewhere around 8 to 10 to 12 missed shots that were kinda, freebies in a way, and we just missed them. Wiggins had a really rough time finishing and overall getting to his game. Steph was kinda playing just all over the place, I would say, and he had some tags while he had to defend Devin Booker, right? With Chris Paul starting, you want Chris Paul on the, toughest, the least tough defensive assignment, even though he's a solid enough defender, he's just too small, frankly enough, and too old. So Steph was running around chasing Devin Booker with Chris Paul in, which is not a great recipe. He did a fine enough job, but Devin Booker will give it to anyone, right? And it just takes away from his legs way too much, which is not something you want with Steph Curry, who, had 27 points still, but it just wasn't as, efficient as he usually is. And some positive from the first and second half was that Klay did really well on Kevin Durant when he needed to. I would say overall we did a very good job turnover-wise, besides the fourth quarter where we just had some really bad turnovers and Steph had some really untimely turnovers in both halves, both quarters in the second half, where two of his turnovers led to some, bad momentum switches, and his fifth foul in the fourth quarter, which he got very early on, led to the Suns, going on an 11-0 run, which, it was a really dumb foul, and Chris Paul had to come in, he had to play 34 minutes, which I think you want Chris Paul to play around 25 to 30 minutes, and he had to play goddamn 34 minutes today. He had to play more than Steph, with Steph being in foul trouble. Steph played just 30 minutes today. Not good enough, and just simply bad enough, right? And like I said, the turnovers were overall really a good positive. Now towards more of the negative stuff, once again, we had a really rough time boxing out. You saw Josh Okogie just killing us. You saw Nurkic winning the Looney matchup, which was one of the biggest issue, right? Looney getting outplayed by Nurkic, and Klay and Wiggins getting outplayed by their guards / role players in Okogie. In, I would say, not sure if anyone else, but right, Eric Gordon had a really rough game, but he made 2 really clutch 3-pointers, which is all you really needed from him. And Klay, while I liked most of the shots, and a lot of fans are going after him, he was 6 of 18 today. I didn't feel as bad about his shots. I really liked his rebounding efforts. And, it's just Klay. Maybe he should have shot a little less today, but, those shots will start going in. We created some really good looks that were just not going in, and we shot 36% from the field and 23% from the 3-point line, which I don't think will happen again, to be quite frank with you. And despite our really good efforts on the offensive rebounds, we had 18 offensive rebounds, and we out-rebounded offensively-wise, on offensive boards, the Suns, which is kinda crazy. We still lost the rebounding battle 49-60 to the Suns. So that's obviously rough. And like I said, it starts with Looney losing the Nurkic matchup. It starts with Wiggins having just 1 rebound. I know he has to defend on the perimeter much more against Devin Booker, against Kevin Durant, but having 1 rebound is really rough, and he had some really rough time boxing out. He mishandled the ball quite a few times, and in that fourth quarter, he had a horrible offensive possession on Eric Gordon, which kind of summarized his night. As you can see, that was one of the most nastiest stuff I've seen from Wiggins since he's been with us. And Chris Paul was 4 of 15. Andrew Wiggins, 4 of 12. Klay, 6 of 18. Steph, 8 of 20, which is not efficient for him. Saric was 3 of 11. So, they both all will play better, I would say. And Saric still did fairly well enough. 7 rebounds is not bad at all. Just the finishing around the rim was really rough. The positives, the rookies, the third-year players, I still call them rookies. Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga both played really well. Kuminga started off really poorly with his fouls, but then got into it. 6 rebounds, had some really good offensive rebounds, which has been the emphasis for him. 12 points, 4 of 8. Can't wait to see more of him. Played just 20 minutes because of the fouls. Closed it out instead of Wiggins, which I love to see from Steve Kerr. Just not finishing with Wiggins when he's just simply not been playing well. Kuminga was better. He closed out with Kuminga. Great to see that. Great adjustment from him. And Moody played really well in the first half. In the second half, he kind of fizzled out. Had 11 points, 3 steals, 3 rebounds. Was also, responsible for some bad turnovers also, even though he's counted for 1 turnover. So I feel like he was involved in some place that, he doesn't get the turnover himself, but it felt like it was his fault from time to time. Maybe that's just me. But he still played really well. 18 minutes, 11 points was really good outing for Moses Moody. GP2 needs to, of course, finish better, but he played really well overall. He's just such an impactful player. 3 steals already today. and played really good defense. And we overall did good enough defense. Devin Booker is just that guy, right? 13 of 21 for Book, 32.6 rebounds, 8 assists, still forced him to have 6 turnovers, but D-Book played sensationally, man. Especially playmaking-wise, down the stretch. What a game from Devin Booker. The best player on the Suns, is it Devin Booker actually, man? Maybe. And, yeah. What else is there to say? Corey Joseph with Steph, it was really bad. Don't do that again, Steve. And overall, Steph lineups with another point guard are just weird. Like, I get it, they want him to be playing off-ball and want somebody to facilitate him. But defensively, it's just been bad, and offensively, the payoff has not been good enough, and those Corey Joseph minutes with Steph really killed us today, and I'm not blaming Corey Joseph. I think he could be really valuable, especially on nights where Steph or Chris Paul will be sitting out, right? They won't be playing 70. They will be playing probably like 60, 65 games if we're being generous. So he's going to be really huge in those type of games, but he shouldn't be playing that much when Steph and CP3 are both playing, in my honest, humble opinion. And that is that. The Warriors' schedule is really tough, actually. They play 7 of the next 8 games on the road. Next game is at the goddamn Golden One Center, I'm pretty sure. At Sacramento, then at Houston, a back-to-back against New Orleans right after that. So it's going to be an interesting start to the season. We play some really tough matchups. Excited to watch and see it, but could be a really rough start to the season. Even though I still think we'll be like 6-3. Hopefully, Draymond plays against Sacramento, and if not, then at least on the weekend against the Rockets or the Pelicans. And that is that from me. I hope you enjoyed my recap, and I'll catch you all with more on this channel with this new NBA season. Hope you're all excited.